Hi everyone, it's great to see you today for our daily reflection. If you don't know me, my name's Pete. I'm the minor canon for young people at Salisbury Cathedral, and it's a joy to have you with us as we go through this reflection. Well, I say reflection, but today is sort of more of an answering of some questions, because people have been asking me a lot about a journey that as we as a family have been on. So I thought for this reflection, I'd give you an update. For those of you that don't know, our family moved into Salisbury in March, and took up the post that we're in. And one of the things that had been on our heart for a number of years, but we hadn't really been in the right circumstance and place to be able to do it, is to become foster carers alongside our day jobs and our two children. It was to become foster carers, and so that's what I thought I'd tell you about. It's been quite a long journey already. It's 9 months. We're still not quite there, but I thought I'd update you on that. So here it goes. Just to give background to why, I guess. Why? I mean, you just have to look at the statistics and things around children and child abuse and things like that at the moment, and your heart absolutely breaks. I think it was this a couple of days ago, Anne Longfield, I think her name is Anne Longfield, the Children's Commissioner for England, said that the care system was a system in crisis, and largely that's because there's so much demand on it. It's sort of demand is outstripping provision. And here's some statistics. I'll get the statistics so that you can hear, just so that you can get a picture about the demand and things that are going up. In August, the NSPCC said that they said there was 73,518 recorded sexual offences against children in the UK in 2019/20, and that is up 57% from 5 years ago in 2014-15. Just let that sink in. 57% growth in reported and recorded offences against children around sexual assault. And then 6 days ago, the BBC wrote an article which was saying that basically 20% rise. There'd been a 20% rise in babies being killed or harmed during the first lockdown that we've had, and that's some 40% of 300 incidents reported involve incidents, which is up infants, which is up a fifth on 2019. That it's shocking, and the lady who was quoting this, Amanda Spielman, who's Ofsted Chief Inspector, believes that it's because of a toxic mix of isolation, poverty, mental illness, and that's been particularly accentuated by the lockdowns we've had. And some of this stuff is because of lockdown, some of this stuff is before lockdown. But before lockdown, a Christian charity who advocates for Christians getting involved in fostering and adoption, called Home for Good, brought part of their purpose about why they're present is because they say that every 15 minutes in the UK, a child is taken into the care system. The demand is so high that this year we need to recruit another 8,100 foster carers to meet some of that demand. Just think about that for a second. 8,100 extra foster carers. And there are almost also 3,000 children waiting for adoption. 27% of them have been waiting more than 18 months. Those figures are stark, and for me and my family, they are figures that we can't just sit back and just go, "That's such a shame." we feel totally called to step into that, to do something about it, to join in a movement of Christians around the country, and others who are saying, you know what, we've got to care for the most vulnerable within our society, for those who are struggling, who don't have a secure placement. That journey for us has looked like, in the first lockdown, we put our names forward, and it's been whatever it is, 7-8 months since then. We've been journeying through an intense process of evaluation, called the Form F process, which is in depth. They go pretty in depth for you becoming a vicar in the Church of England. This is another layer on top. They dig into absolutely everything about you. They look into all your past. They look into absolutely everything to see whether you're the right person. And it's right, because the last thing we want to do is for children to be re-traumatized within the care system, which unfortunately sometimes does happen, not through carers' fault sometimes, but sometimes because of placement breakdowns and other things, and we want to prevent re-traumatizing children wherever possible. So it's entirely right, but it has been a long and challenging and arduous process to get to where we are. And at the very beginning of December, we are going to this thing called panel, where they'll assess our document, the Form F that we've put together, and we'll talk to them about why we want to do this foster care, be foster carers, and whether they'd approve us or not. And prayerfully and hopefully they will approve us, but that's in their hands. For us, this is a response of faith. This is a response to say God's heart is for the least, the last, and the lost in society, and we have to participate in God's mission, God's activity in the world. And if God is calling us to do these sorts of things, then as a church, as individuals, we have to rise up and we have to meet the need of the world head on, and be like God, to get involved with the messiness, to walk with the suffering, to stand alongside the broken. And so that's what we're doing. But I'm not going to lie to you, that is super scary. In terms of what we think about. We've got 2 young children. We've got a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. You're inviting another young person with potentially different issues into your house. What impact will that have on them? That's a complex thing to wrestle with, and as parents trying to see, okay, is this the right thing to do? How is that all balancing? But at the end of the day, you have to reach a point, I think, where you go, we feel like this is a risk that God is calling us to take. And if we're following God in that risk, we will learn something through it. I don't foresee for one moment that this is going to be an easy thing. This is going to be a challenging thing, because children have been through very difficult circumstances, and they are still going through different emotional traumas and other traumas as they journey through the care system. So it feels like a risky thing. People say it's very brave. It doesn't feel very brave, truth be told. It sort of feels a bit stupid, but it feels like the right thing to do. And at some point, we just felt, you got to know in your knower, so to speak, whether something is, you're being called into something, and it felt like the right thing for us to do. So hopefully in December, we'll get through this panel and we'll welcome a young person shortly after that into our house. Try to serve them the best we can. Try to walk with them. Try to be with them. And I wonder, as a church, are we able to do that for people this Christmas? Are we able to invite people in, not necessarily to our houses, but to our buildings? Hopefully they'll be back open. But are we able to offer that radical welcome of God that costs us something, that feels risky, that causes change, either for good or for ill, but change changes us? Are we able to invite people into our shared life? Are we able to bear with people's hurts, brokenness and difficulties? And are we able to say we will love you even in the midst of the challenges? I think is a deep challenge for us as a church, as we see the need in the world. Not all of us are called to do the foster caring journey, but all of us are called to interact with the world, to stand with the suffering, to proclaim the goodness of God, and to tell people that they are not alone. Maybe we can do that as a church. Maybe our small act of welcoming young people into our house makes a difference to their lives. Is that a risk worth taking? I think so. I think it's a risk worth taking, just as God came down to earth, got dirty in the world with us, died upon a cross, and overcame to be resurrected and bring change like no other. That journey cannot have been easy. That journey was not easy. What does it look like for us to pick up our cross, follow the Lord, and help those in need? That's all from me today. Very selfishly, I'm going to ask, if you are the praying type, please pray for us. We're very daunted, very excited as well, and wondering what is in store. So please do remember us in your prayers if you are able, just as we try to remember you in our prayers also. God bless, and I hope to catch you again soon. Catch you later. Bye.